Hello there. Today I wanted to talk about something that has helped me a lot as a very new parent after I realized that my child was autistic. So a lot of times what our child learn is if we give them attention, that means that they think that that is the right thing to do. And with my child, mm, like if she needed something because she's completely nonverbal, we had no method of communication that we were using with her. So she would just scream, and her scream would get my attention. So I would immediately look at her. So I was actually negatively reinforcing her scream because every time she screamed, I looked at her, and thus she could point to what she wanted, or I could see that she was wanting something, and her needs would be fulfilled. So I was unconsciously rewarding that negative behavior, and I was not teaching her the appropriate behavior to seek my attention. So what happened was, with time, the scream became her normal language. So if she needed anything, she would just scream, and I would immediately look at her. So after we started ABA therapy, this was one of the first things that the therapist told me about, was that I was negatively reinforcing the screaming behavior, and thus my child was screaming all the time. And it wasn't because she wanted to be a nuisance, or she was trying to she was not trying to do anything that was bad. It was just that she needed attention. And at that time, she thought the most appropriate thing for her to do to get my attention would be to scream. And thus she screamed, and I reacted to it. So the first thing they taught me was something called attend and ignore. So they said that we attend to the behaviors that we want to reinforce. So, for example, for her screams, we started using the pics, like the pictures, and she would have to give me the picture of the things that she wanted, and I could um, reinforce that and give her what she wanted. But I would purposely ignore her screams. And when I say ignore, I wouldn't look at her, and I would not react to her scream. It was the hardest thing to do, to show no facial reaction, no eye contact, and to act like I didn't hear it. At the same time, I still had to keep an eye on her, to just to make sure that she wasn't doing anything dangerous or harming herself, or getting escalated with that. So what I had to do was, if she was there and she would pick up a picture of the thing she wanted, I would immediately praise her and give her the reward. So when I had the pictures out, I had to make sure that whatever she hands me, I could immediately give it back to her and give her a lot of verbal praise along with it. Versus if she just screamed and wanted my attention, I would have to not respond to that. Um, it was very hard at the beginning, but the more I stuck to it, the more I did it every single time that she screamed, I just acted like I didn't even hear it. And every time she handed me a picture, I just gave her a lot of praises, high fives, hugs, give her what she wanted, like immediately, so that she knew that, oh, if I do this, I'm gonna get it. But if I scream, then nothing is going to happen. So it took us months. It took us months, not just her, but for me too, to get into that habit. And it was a collaborated effort. So everybody in the house, even my 3-year-old, would know not to react to her scream. And she also knew that if she handed her a picture, we would immediately respond to it. And my husband did the same. And at school, all her teachers were using the pics. So it got so easy. She learned so quickly that this is the best way to communicate. So I made a lot of pictures, but laminated them, put it in a sticky note, or put Velcro on the back of it, and made her a folder. We had a folder at home for the real pictures that we use at home. She had a folder at school. She had a folder at therapy, and it was grouped according to like food or toys, or it had pictures of us. So this was the very, very first thing that they taught me as a parent to an autistic child. And I think my journey to becoming a better parent, which I do believe I am a better parent now than I was when I didn't know how to handle any situation. I think this was my step, like my very first step forward to that. And I just wanted to share it with you, whoever is in that situation and they are like, I don't know what to do. My child screams at all the time, or my child does this particular thing all the time, and it's disrupting the environment, or it's not the environment, but like if they're loud, you can't take them outside, or it's not helping, then you might want to sit back and think, are you negatively reinforcing that behavior? Because the child probably doesn't know that that behavior is causing some negative effect. They're just doing it simply because they get a reaction out of it. And a lot of time is just for mere attention. So, attend and ignore was one of the first things that I learned. And I also learned that positive reinforcement is very, very, very helpful. And I still use it. Positive reinforcement, I think that has been our mantra. She does something that we want her to do again. We immediately give her a lot of feedback, a lot of attention. My child these days loves high fives. So we're giving her high fives every time she does something that we want her to do, so that she knows that this is something that will get attention. So I hope that this little thing helps you to know your child better, and hopefully will help you to communicate with the child and help your child to communicate better with you. Thank you so much. Have a great day.